They might. All right, and let me see which. Okay, wrong screen. Here you go. Okay, so I want to go to B and BIQ. Okay, awesome. All right, so we're going to run some data for this property at, let me copy and paste this, 1035 Ridge Road in Maryland. Okay. All right, so we're going to start a report. Create a prospect report, copy and paste the data. All right. All right. Now the system just found it, gave me a link. All right. Give me, I don't remember, give me the bed count and the bath count.
See just back. I see the bed count is 4 beds.
4 bedrooms. Okay.
Bath count 2.5 baths.
2.5 baths.
Yeah.
All right. And so the way we're going to do the guess is we're going to say we can do a minimum of what did I say last time? Did I say 3 or 4 guests per bed? What did I say? I
Oh,
believe
2 guests. So
2
minimum 2
guests
guests
per
per
bed.
bed.
Okay. So we're up to 8.
Yeah.
But if we use common areas, we could probably push it to 10. I want to do that. And what's the rental rate for the property?
Let's see. I believe it's 2,600.
26. Got it. Is this furnished or would you have to furnish it?
It's unfurnished.
It's unfurnished. Okay. So we're going to start the split at a 30-70 spread. Okay. Okay. For now, property. Actually, what's the landlord's name?
Understood. Got a phone with them doing.
Property.
You know what? He doesn't have his name on here, but you can just put what Stone Property. That's what he has it as.
How do you spell?
Stone, STONE, property, Stone Property.
Okay, so we're going to call this the Stone Property Report. Now, is this a what I want to know, is this a property management group? Is this a realtor, or are you dealing with the owner?
This is the owner.
This is the owner. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, so let's get into our business, because you're going to have to furnish this. All right, we're going to start at a 30% split. Okay. I normally try to go between 30 and 20. And if there's going to be a lot of work, I'll even go as high as 35 if the numbers work. If it's a family or friend, I'll go as low as 12.
Sure.
Okay. So we're going to, so the report defaults at an intelligent estimate. Intelligent just simply means that it believes that this is somewhere. Well, let me just real quick take a look. If this was a listing in an A neighborhood, January would go from a 50% occupancy to a limited comparables based on location. Okay, interesting. The software is good. Software good. We'll go back to intelligent. So there's not a lot of comparables, is what it's saying.
So what does that mean? Not a lot of, hmm,
Means means that you don't have that much competition.
hmm, around the
Um,
area.
is this the same one we had talked about being in a rural, kind of suburban spot?
Yep, yep, the same one, yep. And a
Okay, all
data
right,
subject.
all right. So that makes a little bit of sense. Okay, all right. So I want you to kind of bear in mind what this report is saying. So it is telling us, based on the historics, that in February we're going to have a 43% occupancy, and it's going to go as high as 82% occupancy in July. And with the occupancy, the AI is giving us a higher daily rate. So the higher the occupancy, the more money that we can charge as a daily rate. So
Mhm.
just like our experience with I forgot the name of it. What are we using for our pricing?
Price labs.
Just like Price Lab doesn't have a one price for every day,
Mhm.
this doesn't either. So the daily rate will go up and down based on the demand.
Oh, okay,
Uh,
I see. Okay, so for like the month of July, 82% occupancy, so it'll be, the daily rate would be what, 160 or $88?
the daily rate would be 160. Now hold
It'll
on
be,
now. That's
hmm.
counterintuitive. Why is it 223 for January and 160 for that's counterintuitive. I'm not sure if my
Hmm.
head agrees with that.
Seems like it's too high. Well, January is a lower month, but
Yeah, I'm gonna research that more because that doesn't really make a ton of sense. But the selling point of it is how many days has this been on market?
hmm.
How old is the listing?
So it's been on for, let's see, for 9 days.
For 9 days. Okay.
Uh-huh.
All right. So this is not a just kind of putting it out there on the front end. This is not truly a motivated landlord because he's only been shopping it for 9 days.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So that just simply means that this might be something that we have to season. We might have to season if he's not ready to, jump into something right now.
Uh-huh.
Okay. But that being said, this is still a good training because here's what I want you to see. Even with you getting 30% of the revenue, um, okay, now this is good to see. So his rent rate in a traditional for a traditional tenant would be 200. The fact that our short-term number is less than our long-term number means that we're taking too big of a piece of the pie. Because the goal is for the short-term number to be the same or better than the long-term number, and you don't have the wear and tear on the property.
Okay.
So if we take a little smaller piece of the pie, go from
Okay.
30% down to
Okay.
25%, let's see what happens.
Hmm.
Look at that. Okay.
Now it's a little bit less,
So
100 something.
we're almost back. We're almost back to baseline. So let's take a little bit less. Let's go from 25. Let's just take 23%. There we are.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
All right. So what we're basically saying is, Mr. Landlord, Mr. Stone, we can offer you the exact same rent rate without having your property occupied 100% of the time, 90% of the time, or 80% of the time. And mind you, this is the number on the left, that green. That's after you get paid, Cornell.
Hmm.
Not before, this is after.
Okay, so that's after you get paid yearly. So,
So you have already taken your piece of the pie.
okay.
Okay. All right. So now that we have the data, what we're going to do is we're going to build a presentation around the data.
Okay.
Okay. So let's build this presentation. Okay. So I'm going to go to one of my templates. Let's go to Drive. Okay. Let's go to Slides. Okay. All right. So this is a one presentation. We'll make a copy of it. And it will give you editing rights. So we're making a copy, entire presentation.
Okay, so it's like by filling the blanks, basically.
Yep.
Kind of do.
Yep. All right. So we're going to call this, we're going to rename it the name of the property. Presentation block, presentation deck. Okay. All right. So obviously this right here is going to be modified with your information. Oh, by the way, let me give you editing rights before we get started. Okay. Cornell, give me your
Email. You want me to just put it in the chat, the email?
please. Yep.
Send it to. Done.
Okay, got it. Share. Editing rights. Okay. So now you have editing rights. All right. I think you said the guy's name was Stone.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just calling the Stone income projection report, and then I'm putting the address. So that's all I'm doing for slide one. Obviously, I want you to throw your picture of your company in here or a personal business picture in here for slide one. You're going to do the exact same thing for slide two. And then you are going to, one way of doing this is actually go to your Airbnb profile and the message that you have incoming people, you might want to just tailor that a little bit, tweak it a little bit so that is a little, especially if it's not super professional, you want this to be ultra professional.
So is there a way that you can put that in AI and have it spit back out?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, that's interesting. You always give me I'm like, challenge accepted. Hang on. Challenge accepted. So if I go to my profile and I do this, copy all of this, go to AI, let me start a new thread, create, hang on for a second.
Yeah.
Great day, this is Earl McCray. Hello, hello. Okay. I only picked that up because I thought that was Airbnb. Create a professional introduction page based on my Airbnb profile to attract landlords who may be interested in the co-listing business model. Let's see what AI does with that. A little long, a little long. Why choose me as a co-listed partner dedicated and trustworthy, personalized service, professional management. Thank you for considering me as a potential partner in the co-listing business model. I'm set to, okay. I mean, that's something. That is something. I might even rewrite it like this. Rewrite for brevity and clarity. So I mean, yeah, you could use definitely do something like that, and copy and paste this, and put it in the put it in here. So clearly, I mean, you'll do that for you. That's way too long, but you get the idea, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah, the one that you got in there is pretty good too.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm just trying to, yeah, just trying to tweak it based on what you mentioned. Okay, so that's page 2 of the presentation. Page 3 of the presentation, don't change it. Don't change it at all. Okay. Page 4, don't change it. Page 5, don't change it. Page 6, keep it as is. Page 7, page 8, because this is stuff that they can't do on their own because they're landlords.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is,
So when it says description link, is that a link? Am I changing a link or?
so description link just gives them more detail about
Okay,
the whole idea of, do I need an Airbnb license? These are like frequently asked questions you just put on the front end
okay. Without them asking first?
without them asking it. You just put it on the front end, frequently asked questions. So after your presentation, they can go back and, especially if they're feeling the vibe of what you were saying, they can go back and they can go to do the commonly asked questions without tying you up.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. I would think we wouldn't bring up the word Airbnb, but what do you think? We just to beat them ahead of it, beat them to the punch?
Beat them to the punch. Beat them to the punch. Because at this point, right, we have everything to win and nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the customization. Now, this is what you and I are doing together. So what we want to do is we want to go back to that data that we just ordered, and we want to put that in the presentation. So if you go back to here to BNB IQ, there's something that I kind of just glossed over really, really quickly. But now we're going to take a deeper dive. You see where it says similar properties found within the area?
Yeah.
5 properties. There's 5 properties. Normally there's a lot more properties, but this is in a suburban area. And
Yeah,
so,
so you can actually tell us in the suburban area by the by the number of properties.
right, absolutely, absolutely. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to see if these are current or past um, Airbnb listings by hitting this button right here. Okay, beautiful. So this is an active listing. Charming farmhouse in PA. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be copying and pasting this information here right here. The occupancy was 70%. Let me see if that's true. They said that the occupancy was 32%. So I'm gonna actually grab that. I'm doing a bit of a cut and paste action here. I'm gonna put this in the browser so I know what I'm working with. So this was 32%. So I'm just customizing. This was the ADR was 259. And I know you're gonna ask me what ADR stands for. Some reason
Yeah,
I'm having a brain freeze. So I'm gonna give that to Airbnb AI so they can tell me what it means. And personal potential revenue is 19 grand for a year. All right. So, in the world of short-term rental, what does what does ADR stand for? ADR. ADR. Oh, there you go, buddy. Average daily rate. So you take your total rental revenue and you divide it by the number of days you rent it. Okay. Keep a key performance indicator used by property owners and managers to assess how well a rental property is doing. Okay. So ADR 259. When I look back on it, 259 seems like it's actually kind of in the middle. It's not the lowest and it's not the highest. Okay. All right. So here's what else I'm doing. Okay. So as I build this out, what I want to do here is I want to grab a picture of where it is in reference to the geographic area.
Oh, only that one listing because it's on the top, or
Yeah. So here's what I'm doing right here. So here is that area where it's at. And
Mhm.
I'm just gonna go in and see if any of these little roads, and you could probably know this better than me, but any of these little roads, are they in close proximity to our subject property?
You know what? I'm not sure. I'm really not that sure if it is.
Yeah. So
Um,
because we're not sure, I guess it's probably better to do like just a little aerial picture than to get really, really specific. So we're gonna take a picture.
so
All I'm doing right now, Cornell, is I'm just using a tool, and I'm just cutting and pasting.
Oh, you're using a snipping tool?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm snipping it. Okay. Snip it, bring it over to my presentation. Sometimes I'll give it a accent, a highlight with a color. Not all the time, but sometimes I do. And then I'm just going to make it fit in the space. And I'm going to do that with at least 3 to 4 subject properties.
Yeah, okay. So,
Okay. And now this here, I just want a testimonial of how this place is doing. I go back to the Airbnb link, and I'm going to go and I'm going to try to grab 2 or more testimonials of guests enjoying the product. Because what we are basically selling is the idea, if they can do it, so can you.
yeah, makes sense.
That's all we're selling. And again, I'm trying not to overdo it. I'm trying not to oversell. So, normally 3 of these is enough. And actually, the real goal is for them to have something to look at after the presentation is over.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay. So we got one subject property. Let's do the next subject property. Snip this, edit that, go back to the report. Let's see if this is a current Airbnb listing by hitting this link. All right, is a current listing. Person Superhost 2 years. Okay. Very good. And the one thing I didn't do for the first one that I could probably show, just take this, go ahead and copy that link and throw it here where it says link. You can actually allow them to hit the link and go straight to
Yeah, listen.
the competition. All right. Because again, what we want them to know is that, hey, other people are profiting, so can you. So can you. There's abundance.
So
Again,
yeah, that's good tool. So does this in this B&B IQ, does it show you how far the competition property is from the original one that we're looking at?
no, it really doesn't narrow down. You gotta kind of know your market a bit, I guess, to say this is pretty close, this isn't close.
Okay.
All we got to go on is the aerial map. And
Yeah, so you'll have to probably yeah, you won't know Pennsylvania, but it says Beach Bottom, Pennsylvania. How far is it from that property address, right? You probably
right,
be the best
yep.
one.
So snippet tool. Go ahead and lay that in. Highlight it, give it a color, grab a testimonial.
It is close. It's about 20 minutes away. So
20 minutes. Okay. And
11
so
miles.
then that might even be put, okay, that might even be something that you could put 20 minutes away. That might even be something that you could write just so you can refer back to during the presentation. 10 minutes away, 5 minutes away. something of that nature. As I want to grab this testimonial. But this is how I normally do it. I actually normally do 2 testimonials and how people are rating them in terms of value.
Hmm.
Copy and paste that right there. Highlight it a little bit. Maybe give it a color. Again, this is something that we're just going over real quick, and they have something to bounce back to. So
Will they be able to click on a testimonial picture to enlarge it to see it, or are they gonna get small text?
here's what they'll be able to do. After you're kind of talking to this in the presentation, they'll be able to see it, but you're actually going to send them the presentation.
Yeah, and so they can look at it and open it up, right?
Yeah. So once you send it to them, they'll just hit link,
Or it look like this.
and then
Okay.
they'll be able to open it up.
Okay.
I mean, because ultimately that's kind of what we want them to. During the presentation, we don't want them going back and forth.
Yeah.
After the presentation, they can do a couple things. They can be in like research mode. Okay. All right. So for the scope of this, what I'm now going to do is we've just done two subject properties, but there's a bunch more. There's a bunch more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy those rates, and instead of me building all of them, I'm just going to put that data in that presentation right there. I'm going to grab the actual Airbnb link. I'm going to put it right there. Then I'm going to go to another subject property. Comparable is really what this is called, not a subject property. Oops, that didn't, okay, that went the wrong place. Let me hit undo. Undo, should be right here. That's odd. It's not going where I thought it should go. Okay. Okay, now it's doing it. All right, as soon as I finish this, I'll start talking to you again. Okay, there it is.
Link comparables. Okay.
So this B&B report, if I sent it to a prospect, it only gives them certain portions of the data. So the data I'm copying and pasting for you right now,
Mhm.
it wouldn't give them that. It would not totally disclose everything you and I are talking about right now. Okay. All right. So 3 additional subject properties. Let's go to the next page of the presentation. Okay. All right. So now we're making the case for the person to do business with us. Give me a second here.
Okay. I was going to ask you a question before you move on too, Earl.
Okay. Ask away, my friend.
Yeah, so I see those 3 different most subject properties. And do you have 3 more slides after that to fill it into?
So although I didn't build it with you right here and there, I didn't build it. I'm giving you the data so you can build those 3 additional slides.
Okay, okay.
And
I'm
that's
trying.
why I'm recording this so that you can go back to it. So like it's almost like, okay, this is what McCray did. So let me try to do it now. So
Okay, okay.
okay. All right. So this is the next slide. You're not actually keeping this slide unless you want to personalize it. So these are all properties that I have that are either 5-star or people who say they're customer favorites. This is basically the whole purpose of the last slides is for them to know other people are doing it, and so can you.
Mm-hmm.
This slide is for them to know I'm the guy that can help you do it because I'm already doing it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Again, it's totally optional. Keep it, delete it. If you keep it, absolutely customize it. Okay. All right. So where's this information coming from? So this information is coming from the report. So this is them doing it on their own, doing it business as usual. And that's down here. Long-term renting on your own. So I'm actually gonna use my snippet tool and copy that data. Put it right here. And in this field right here, I'm gonna swap it out from my data that's here. Monthly revenue. I'm comparing long-term to short-term. And what I'm trying to do is trying to make the case that short-term is better than long-term if you're going to make the same amount of money. Okay. All right. So this slide strategically goes here. So this is like basically our anchor slide. Hey, Mr. Landlord, this is what you're already making based
Mm-hmm.
on your rent rates. And in order to get to this point, this is what you're already familiar with: chasing tenants, vetting tenants, figuring out what the right price is, uh, mitigating property damage, realizing that your property is only really going to be deep cleaned once they leave through the transition period. Uh, you're going to respond to tenant issues, whether it's once a month, once annually, once a quarter. It's just a part of the game. And then you are the person interfacing with the tenants. I want to introduce you to a new way, in my opinion, a better way. And then you go to the short-term slide. So here we go. I'm going to grab that short-term information. And again, I'm not promising them that they're going to double their rent rate. I'm just telling them that they're going to match their rent rate and they're going to be able to do it with less wear and tear on their property. And man, that didn't copy well. Let me try that again. Oh, that copied better. And then I'll copy that overneath. And then note to self, put this slide on first and then throw these slides on top.
That's slide first. Which one I'm putting on top?
Uh-huh. So do this one first and do these second. All right. So this is where they are. This is where we want to bring them. And now we're going to do a side-by-side comparison. Put that one in first, put that one in second. So let's go back here. First slide. Long-term run on your own. And we said the split wasn't 70-30. What did we say the split was?
What was it? 70-25, I think. Let's go back up. 70-23.
70-20.
We
So
got
that's 23, 100 minus 23 is
77.
that sounds right. That sounds right. $77-23 split. Okay. So they're keeping 77 and we're keeping 23. Because ultimately that's what they're asking. So, what is this costing me? And you are like, it costs you nothing. You're going to get the same rent rates. And you are going to be able to drastically reduce your maintenance exposure. And then what we'll even throw in there, especially if this has been sitting on the market for a while, is the opportunity cost. So depending on the person, this may or may not be important to them, but so short-term rentals, they're losing $219 a day versus them making $86 a day. So in a traditional rental, based on the days they've been on the market, they're losing $770 versus $1,974. So again, the goal is the mental game that we're playing is this is superior to this because you got less wear and tear on your property.
I see. Okay. Okay.
All right.
And these numbers, I won't have to do too many modifications because these numbers are from that property.
Right.
Gave to you.
Yep.
Yeah. So you can do it for any property, right? I just have to have B&B IQ. Probably need
Right.
that.
Yep. Yep. And so the next slide is interesting, right? So the next slide basically says, our performance guarantee. We perform or we work for free. So if we don't make your rental rate, like so your prorated rental rate, prorated means that when the property is ready to go, what did we say the rental rate was going to be?
What is it? The rental rate is what? I said what, 26, I think?
So we just put that in number in 26. All right. So we don't make your prorated rental rate in 30 days, in 60 days, in 90 days. That number can depend on your relationship with the person. If this person is close to you, make the number bigger because they don't need to see results immediately because you got a trust factor. If you don't know them as well, then you can make the number smaller. I would never go less than 30 days though. my sweet spot is 60 to 90 days. Because 30 days, as you know, a listing is still getting traction.
Mm-hmm.
So I would keep it at 60 days. After the property is ready to be listed and rented, we work for free. So if we don't make their rental rate, we're basically not going to make any money. So there's a no risk kind of scenario at work.
So the only work, so we, if, if we working for free, we don't make no money. We can't pay the rent to them. They don't make any money. So
No, so
therefore,
no, so think about it differently, because I'm glad you said that, because that allows me to clarify the misunderstanding.
yeah.
We're not paying any of the expenses.
Okay, so they're paying the expenses as far as, what, utilities, what else?
They're paying utilities, they're paying Wi-Fi, they're paying gas. I mean, they're paying water,
Mhm.
they're paying lawn fees, they're paying everything.
Okay,
They're paying everything. So at the end of the first 30-day cycle, say we only made 2,500. So that 2,500, we ain't
we'll
make
just,
no profit. It
right,
all
they're
goes
just,
to them.
okay, so I'm trying to, yeah, let me get in that mindset of colisting, okay? So whatever money we make within that 30 days, we're at a split of, what I say, 77-25 split, right?
Yep.
So whatever money we make that month, it would just be a 77 split, which will be theirs, and a 23 split, which will be ours.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, okay, that's how it is. And if you don't make any, let's see, if you don't make any money that month, 0% occupancy, then I'm thinking of it that way, nobody gets paid at all, landlord or.
Yeah, I mean, bro, you went extreme on me. You said 0%. Really?
Yeah, I'm just
All
thinking
right,
like, okay,
all
that's
right.
crazy,
So
but
so here's the worst case for us. If we don't make the rental rate, we're not making money for our the work we put in. So we're guaranteeing that they're gonna make their rent rate, and we're gonna make the above and beyond. We're gonna make the overflow. That makes sense?
yeah, that makes sense. Okay, we're gonna make the overflow. That gonna make the run. Okay, but
So when we position ourselves like that, it's like a no risk guarantee for them.
yeah,
So what happens if they only made 10 grand? Or excuse me, what happened if they only made 12 grand? Well, they didn't make their rent rate and we didn't get paid either.
what you mean 1,200 or 12? You said 12. You mean
12,
1,200?
1,200 is what I meant to say.
1,200 for that month. They didn't
Right,
make their rent rate. We didn't make no money, but they made half, well, almost half, right?
right.
So in that case, what would happen then if they only make half of that rent for that month?
So we don't, they're gonna get all of that, all of the money, because really they have all the expenses. All we're putting in is our grit and our time
Yeah.
and our expertise. But we're not leveraging any money.
Okay.
We're
Yeah.
leveraging our expertise.
Yeah, because I'm trying to understand, like, for the month, say that for the month of November, we only make 1,400, but the rent is 2,600.
None of that, none of that factors for us at this point, because
Hmm.
that's not our responsibility.
So their responsibility will be able to come up with the rest to pay their, I guess, to make up for the rent.
Right? Remember, they own it. They
Okay.
own it. They own it. So
So
what
is
they're
there,
doing is they're gambling that we can deliver, and if we can deliver, they're going to get their same rent rates, and they're not necessarily worried about the wear and tear on the property. But we got 60 days. After the 60 days, they can fire us. You
okay,
feel?
yeah,
You understand?
that makes sense. Well, actually, it might be a little bit better, right? Because, okay, they're paying the rent, they're paying the utilities. We're just promising them as a landlord, we're just promising them to pay the rent. And then after that
Well,
number,
no. We're not promising them that we're paying the rent. That's not what we're promising. Let's say it again. We're promising in 60 days, if we don't make their rent rates, we work for free. So the worst case scenario, 60 days in, we put the work in, we didn't make any money. But did it cost us any money?
No, it didn't cost,
No.
they're covering everything else.
Right. That's what I got to make sure that you're hearing me say. The only thing that we're leveraging is our time and our expertise.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So there, yeah, so we're not promising them nothing. But what's in writing right here? If we don't make your prorated rental rate of such and such rent in 60 days after the property is ready to be listed and rented, we work for free. So
Exactly.
yeah, okay. We just have to, I know you were saying about the overflow. We just gotta make sure that we have whatever the rent is and whatever the price is in rent, we have overflow on top of that because they're basically using, okay, for the month of, let's say for the month of August, um, make, $3,500, 3,600. So that 2,600 would go to them. Oh, no, sorry, wouldn't, because we got that 77-25% split.
Right.
What I keep getting mixed up is that whatever the rent is, I'm taking that out of it, and whatever's left over is ours as co-host, but that's not the case. The case is so is it the case that whatever revenue we make for that month is always gonna be a 77-25% split regardless?
Well, so let me hopefully this will clarify it.
Not to mix up things, but I just want to get a good
Yeah.
grasp on it.
So also in this link, and I gotta jump on another phone call at the top of the hour, but is the management contract. I want you to go through the management contract to see
Okay.
how distinctly different it looks from a lease agreement. Because we're really insulating ourselves with the idea that the overflow is how we eat. We
Yeah.
don't eat unless y'all eat.
So when you say when you say overflow, are you talking about the overflow after that rental price, that rental rate price, or you talking about, yeah, go deeper into that, clarify that.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me just let my 4 o'clock call know.
No problem.
I am running 5 minutes late. We'll open Zoom shortly. Okay. So I want to share this one link with you. So this is what just happened? Stop sharing.
Still see the screen.
What just happened? Okay, that was weird. Can you see my screen?
No, not now.
Hmm. Um, it's weird. So what I'm going to do, because I don't know what's going on, it looks like I need to restart my computer. So here's what I'm doing. I want you to jump back in my calendar so we can do a round two, so I can finish this discussion. But you should have editing rights to this work that we were just on.
Yeah, that sounds good. Sounds good. We can hop back on what tomorrow?
Absolutely.
Let's just do that. Okay. That sounds good, Earl. All right.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right.
Okay. Talk to you soon, brother. Okay.
All right. All right. Let's restart this computer. What's going on?